So every business leader out there is hearing the exact same thing. You've got to adopt AI, or you're going to get left behind. It promises to move at the speed of light, completely supercharge your workflows, but there's a catch, right? There's always a catch. For every single promise of speed, there's this nightmare scenario of just losing control. We're talking data leaks, decisions being made that no one can explain, and that is the paradox we're going to unpack today, this constant tug-of-war between speed and control.
And this quote, well, it just hits the nail on the head. The real problem here is a fundamental trust deficit. I mean, how can we unleash AI on our most critical operations if we can't trace back its logic? So the challenge isn't about slamming the brakes on AI. Nope. It's about building a better car, one with, reliable steering and a transparent dashboard, something that lets us go fast but safely.
So this really is the million-dollar question we're tackling. How do we bridge this massive trust gap? Is it even possible to harness the incredible, mind-bending speed of AI while making sure that human wisdom and oversight are still firmly in the driver's seat? Well, the solution requires a totally different way of thinking about AI integration. It's a framework built from the ground up specifically to solve this paradox, and it's called SAFe.
But before we jump into the solution, let's be super clear about what's at stake here. Just letting AI run wild in your systems? That's not an option. We're talking about major compliance breaches, leaking sensitive customer data, and making huge business decisions with absolutely no audit trail. The liability is just enormous.
So what is SAFe exactly? Okay, the name is a little bit counterintuitive. Stay away from email servers. Now, this doesn't mean avoiding email. It actually means the AI stays away from your core business systems. So instead of embedding AI deep inside your most sensitive databases, you isolate it. Each AI agent gets its very own mailbox, and it communicates using the universal language of email, the SMTP protocol, which acts as this secure, auditable middleman. And what's so cool about this slide is that it shows the original, actual hand-drawn idea. And it just illustrates the simplicity of it all, doesn't it? You've got the business provider, that's the AI agent doing all the heavy lifting on one side. On the other, you've got a human, providing that critical legal sign-off. And right there in the middle, a trusted business contract, the email itself, brokering the entire exchange. It's brilliant. But you might be thinking, why email? It seems almost too simple, right? Well, for one, it's universal. Everybody has it. But more importantly, email creates a permanent, unchangeable record of every single interaction. Every request, every approval, it's all time-stamped and logged forever. It's kind of like having a built-in blockchain for all your business decisions. This creates a firewall, decoupling the AI from your core systems and giving you a perfect, traceable audit trail for every single action. All right, let's move on and see how this actually builds a rock-solid digital chain of custody. We're going to look at the nuts and bolts that make this framework so secure and so auditable. So here's how the data actually moves through the system. It all starts with a person sending a task through a regular email. The system then routes this to the correct AI agent. The AI gets to work, but, and this is the crucial part, its output is immediately firewalled. It has to pass through automated checks and a mandatory human review before it can go anywhere else. And of course, every single step of this journey is then permanently recorded in that email trail. Now, this isn't just some simple workflow. It's a multi-layered security protocol. Let's walk through it real quick. At P0, the system makes sure you are who you say you are, which stops imposters. At P1, a second supervisor AI acts as a safety net, checking for stuff like bias or toxic language. Then at P2, and listen up, because this is the most important step, a human expert has to give the final sign-off. Nothing gets through without their okay. And P3 is the guarantee. Everything is logged, creating that unbreakable audit trail. See? Trust isn't just an assumption here. It is literally engineered into every single step. And this diagram just perfectly illustrates that division of labor. You've got the AI agents over on the left dealing with all the messy stuff. Big data, graph data, complex systems. They process all of it and they distill it way down. So what does the human on the right get? Simple, clean, refined data in a format they can easily understand. This lets them make a final, really informed judgment. It's the perfect partnership.
This brings us to what is arguably the most critical element of this entire framework, putting humans, not algorithms, back in the driver's seat. Let's really dig into how governance is centered on human expertise.
So this is the core philosophy right here, a clear separation of duties. Let the AI do what it's amazing at, sifting through mountains of data, summarizing things, and handling those tedious, repetitive tasks at superhuman speed. But the skills that truly drive a business We're talking judgment, negotiation, ethical oversight. Those stay exclusively human. The AI is the engine, the human is the pilot. Simple as that.
And this right here is the ultimate fail-safe, the human sign-off. Think of it as a completely non-negotiable checkpoint. Before any AI-generated output can trigger a significant action, like, say, signing a contract or talking to a client, a human expert must step in. They have the final say. They can approve it, they can edit it, or they can just flat out reject it. This one step is the firewall between automated efficiency and, well, automated disaster.
And let's be absolutely crystal clear about this. For any really important decision, anything that involves contracts or money or customer rights, 100% of AI-generated outputs have to pass through this human verification checkpoint. No exceptions, period.
This quote just sums it up perfectly. You really do get the best of both worlds. AI provides the raw power, while the human decision-making provides the control. The SAFE framework fuses these two together, and what you get is a process that's not only fast, but also fundamentally trustworthy.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? Let's walk through a practical, phased roadmap for how you can get started with this.
The approach here is really methodical. You don't just try to boil the ocean all at once. In Phase 1, you start small. Go for some low-risk tasks to get some quick wins. Then in Phase 2, you start connecting the AI to your key systems to give it more context. And only then, in Phase 3, once your governance is proven and solid, do you move to the higher-stakes automation. The key takeaway here is that governance comes first, not last.
And you've got to measure your success with clear, tangible metrics. How much time are you actually saving on key processes? Is the AI's error rate going down over time? And maybe most importantly, are your teams actually using the system? These numbers are what tell you if the framework is really delivering on its promise of efficiency and quality.
So, we've covered the problem, we've walked through the SAFE framework, and we've talked about how to implement it. What's the single most important idea to walk away with from all this?
Well, at the end of the day, the SAFE framework proves that the choice between speed and control is a false one. By intentionally creating this buffer and embedding human judgment right at the heart of the process, you are actively engineering trust directly into your AI systems. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. You can, finally, have both.
And that leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Maybe the smartest way to embrace AI, to really bring it into the heart of our businesses, is to first create a system that intentionally and safely keeps it at arm's length. It's a bit of a paradox, I know, but it might just be the key to unlocking AI's true potential.